Someone has requested if I can make a video to list the type of things that you'd need if you're gonna get a pet dove. So this is it. Firstly, you need to get a variety of different bird seed that's adequate for them to be able to eat. In terms of food, you want to get them like Dove specialised mixes that have things like wheat and barley and stuff like that in it, and corn, and also add some like sunflower seeds, but make sure that they're deshelled beforehand, because the shells can get stuck in their crops and cause problems in later in life type of thing. Also some foxtail millet, they like that. You would need a kind of wash basin or something to be able to wash them, to have them bathe themselves every few days or whenever they want to bathe. You can wash them in the shower or in the sinks and stuff like that, but it depends on whether they feel comfortable going in there. I just usually get a wash basin and leave some water in it until they feel comfortable, and they end up washing themselves nowadays. You would need a whole bunch of cage linings, which is some like incontinence dog bedding sheets that people get for themselves and have in their own beds as well. I'll show you inside the nests now, or inside the cages. I mean, for the cages, if you're getting one bird, I'd suggest getting about a 36-inch cage, if you can have the space for it, that is, or maybe even a 42-inch cage like these ones over here. But these are for 2 birds basically. I would suggest, depending on how much time you have free each day to spend with the bird, potentially getting 2 doves, either 2 females or a male and female that are already paired up together. I say 2 females because they, as long as they come from the same source, then you're not going to have problems with them laying eggs and stuff like that. But if you get 2 males, then you'll have problems with them fighting, and you'll have to separate them all the time. They wouldn't be sharing a cage if you had 2 males. You'd usually have to have them out for at least 2 hours each day for them to be exercising their wings and stuff like that, to be able to fly around the room and forage around freely. You'd need to be with them the entire time to be able to make sure that they're not falling between gaps or eating anything or consuming anything that they shouldn't be, which also means that you're going to have to vacuum a bunch. If you've got carpet like me, I tend to use bed sheets that I just cover over the floors and over things like my TV screen over there, because they will sit on top of stuff and they will poo on it. If you have perches around the room like I do, which is a good thing really, because they do like to fly around and walk and land on different perches in different areas and perch on them for a while to be able to preen, you need to keep them over these certain areas of the carpet that's covered by bed sheets, otherwise they will poo all over everything. Always remember to keep your windows closed, because they can fly out, and if they do fly out, it can be, well, it's dangerous for them, because of if they're domesticated. I suggest buying some from, or getting some from someone who trains them for magicians potentially, or if you know of a local rescue that has any. The ones I've got here are Barbary doves or ringneck doves, depending on where you are in the world, and also they can be called Java doves or laughing doves because of the laughter noise that they make when they land. But yeah, back to the cage. Now we've got a food dish here. I've got a dish there that I put eggshell food in, which helps them, gives them extra calcium and stuff like that, and helps them to be able to form eggs inside them a lot easier. They've obviously got a water dish. They've got a bowl of grit there because their diet consists of mainly seed and a little bit of like salad crest and stuff like that. So they do need the extra grit to be able to digest the food a little easier. They've got foxtail millet things over there. They need little toys to be able to entertain themselves. Things like little balls and like bells and stuff like that, or things that they forage through and little frilly things that they just use to separate with their beaks and stuff like that to entertain them. You can also get them a little mirror if you want, and some other wooden platform perches around the cage. They'd need wooden perches mainly to help with their feet, and perches that have like certain types of things like a surface to be able to file their nails down a little bit. You can get ones like the teals have here as well that also file down their nails. Another good thing for them to have is rope perches as well, because they're able to walk along them, and like I said, these have got the incontinence bedding types of thing. They're easy to clean up afterwards. I, as like a little hack, use like a DVD case with some newspaper wrapped around it, because Emma always poos in the same area of the cage that I've discovered, so it's a lot easier for me to clean up every day. She's got a forage mat over there, which is essential for birds like this, because I think they say it takes them a lot more time to eat seeds that are on a forage mat than it does in like a bowl or a dish, because they have a lot more fun in foraging through it. Now you'll need little things like you can't just about see them, there's zip ties and stuff like that to be able to build nests like they have over here. They've built quite a nest, but it's a bit of a pain because of where they've built it. It's a nightmare for me to change their cage. I also use 2 fluorescent or UV bulbs to provide them like fake sunlight, because it helps them with their feather growth and helps them maintain a healthy lifestyle. I've also got some pet carriers which only cost about $20 to be able to transport them to like the vets and stuff. You'll need cage covers at night, because at night time if you cover the cage over night time, it provides them with this false sense of safety, so that they don't, because they can wake up in the night and get scared quite easily if they can get confused over where they are, and it can cause them a bit of panic. So it's best to cover their cages at night, and it also keeps them warm over the winter months as well, because it's like a cover, isn't it? Like a proper duvet. I've got perches around the room, like I said. I use certain types of cleaner to clean the cages. What else is there? I also tend to provide them with like additional play areas where they can forage, and I've got, like I said, I give them their salad crest as a vegetable type of thing. They can eat other vegetables, but you have to chop them up very, very finely. And my birds don't really tend to like eating them. I think they enjoy eating salad crest because it's something that they pick at. If you have one bird, you'll need to spend probably about 4 or 5 hours a day with the bird to make sure that out with the bird, so that it's doesn't get lonely, and you kind of become its kind of emotional support and its partner. I'd suggest getting 2 birds. They're about the same to look after, really. You just got to keep an eye on them, basically. Always make sure that you don't walk around when they're on the floor around you, or because you don't want to accidentally kick them or something like that, because they'll remember, and it's always best to try and like be thoughtful of them, be wary of them whenever you're out around them. You need to change their cage at least 2 or 3 times a week, realistically speaking, if they're creating a lot of poo. If you ever have any problems with like when worrying about like the colour of their poos or something like that, you can always contact me and I'll be able to let you know as to what's normal and what isn't. Now, in terms of insurance, because they're more exotic birds, most insurance companies won't cover them. You can look around. There are a few that will cover them though, but It's more specialist types of companies that will. I've got all mine insured, or except Emma actually. Oh no, and Ali. I haven't got them insured yet. But I need to take you to the vet first, don't I, babe? Yeah. She wanted to get in on the video, so I kind of. I'm a sucker to follow her commands. Ideally, the best temperature for them is about 16 degrees plus. They say about 18 degrees online, but you're pretty fine around 15, 16 degrees usually, aren't you? Yeah. So ideally, you'd need about maybe 4 or 5 different dog dishes, or maybe 6 even, so that they have water out. So they have water out around the room, and little bits of food and stuff like that. You're going to find yourself vacuuming off a lot because they spread out seed everywhere. But you basically, like I said, you basically just to start you'll need 5 dishes. You don't technically need the grit and the eggshell food straight away, but they will appreciate it. Like once you get it for them, they will start having it straight away, kind of thing. I can suggest other things as well, but without knowing what environment you're going to be having them in and stuff like that, I can't really suggest you getting like a dehumidifier and stuff like that, because I don't know what conditions they'll be in. I kind of do use a dehumidifier at times. It all depends on the time of the year and whether it's clammy or not. But yeah, just as long as you remember to have entertainment for them. If you've got more than 2, or if you have 2, you only really have to have them out. You can have them both out at the same time if you've only got 2. The reason I can't have mine out all day is because I've got more than 2. Because I have to have them out separately. If I had 2, I'd have those 2 out for 8 hours a day. So the more time you actually are able to have them out, the more they'll appreciate it. But because of the conditions of like how many birds I've got, I have to have them out at certain intervals, kind of thing. So as long as you keep an eye on the water as well, because they will poo in their water. So you'll probably need to change the water at least once, twice a day, usually on average. She's. I'm sorry. She just cracks me up. She just kept moving because she's on the perch at the moment, but she's on the far end when I started recording this, and then she just started. Once she realised I was recording, she just started easing herself closer and closer to the camera. No, she wants to go. But yeah, these types of perches I like. I tend to buy them in, like I'll buy like about 3 or 4 so that I have them around the room. These things, after a while, they kind of break. But the good thing is you can actually like just use it as something to be able to transport them easily. I'm going to have to do this now because she is on the lamp and I need her to go on there. There you go. See, like I say, it's like a magic wand, this thing. I move it and she'll jump back up there. And like I say, laughing doves. It's one of those sounds that you will definitely, it will annoy you after about maybe a week or 2, but then after about 3 weeks, you'll love it so much, and it will be half the time. It's just too comical. It's really cheered me up hearing those sounds every day. Another thing, if you have a larger cage, they will. What I've got here is I've got dog cages that I use because they're cheap and they're easy to clean, because the bottom of them just, like the bottom panel just pulls out, kind of thing. Like I think these 42-inch cages only cost about 40 odd quid. I don't know what that'd be in dollars, or what the prices of them are in dollars if you're in the States, or what they are in euros. But this 36-inch one costs about 35 or 30. I can't remember. But yeah, in order to stop them from pushing their heads through, I've put like a wire mesh on the outside, which is also good because it there's a lot of perches and stuff like that the rings would fall between the actual bars, like on there, like how my finger goes through. So that wire mesh has been able to allow me to actually put more perches on the inside for them to use. I actually need to put some wire mesh on here to try and give these guys an extra couple of perches, because they're limited to just having 3 at the moment, like those 2 over there. There's a tiny little one there they've got, and then of course their long rope one. You can also give some doves some sea salt from time to time, just a tiny pinch, because they do actually, it does actually help them out. But again, not too much. You don't want to give them like a bowl full every day. If you're going to be having things like, the reason I say you need to have separate bowls is because, like, you can't really mix the eggshell food and the grit together, because they're less likely to have it, because they're 2 separate things. You don't want to be mixing certain things together for them. And the same with the food. You don't want to be mixing the eggshell food in with the seeds. And again, if they have vegetables, you want to be keeping the vegetables separate from everything as well. So, and then the water. So there's at least five bowls that you can end up having. You don't have to have them in there with the cage every day. Again, you kind of have them out in separate areas of the room if you have them out of their cage. I don't normally end up having the grit bowl in her cage. I just realised I had it in there to film the video, and she's seeming to like it. Now, this is also a little bit of a hack as well, because sometimes they don't like to bathe as often as they should. So I tend to just use these spray them with some water, and it creates like a mess. Another thing you should know is, if you have birds like this, you don't want to be using candles, scented wax, stuff like that, because I was using scented wax all the time before I got them. I wouldn't smoke around them. I wouldn't keep them away from the kitchen if you're cooking, because that kind of thing can cause them, like, they've only got small lungs, you see. And you've got to be very careful with the birds this size as well, because if they get cut, then they can easily bleed out, because they've only got like about 10-15 millilitres of blood in their entire body, and, well, so that's an awful lot less than we have. By, like, not even a funny ratio. Considering we have like 8 pints, and they have like not even like 1/30 of a pint or something. Maybe like 1/40 of a pint of blood in them. So they can bleed out very, very quickly. Which is why Peaches here doesn't like me that much, because about a month or 2 after I got him in here, he and Zuko were having a fight, and Peaches cut his foot, and I had to catch him in a towel a number of times and hold him by force in my hands to be able to maintain him and make sure that he wasn't going to be bleeding out, because he was flying around, he was loose in the room, and he was bleeding all over the place. You can use things like flour to cauterize and stop the bleeding, which is what I did, but it was very scary, so you got to be very careful with the birds. They can end up getting injured, and
It's very stressful and not fun at all.
In terms of veg, there's a wide variety of veg that they can have. It's best to cut it up very, very tiny though, and just add it occasionally, just to see if they end up taking to it or not. If they do, they do. If they don't, you know, at least you'll know what they all prefer to have in the future. You may think about getting some entertainment perches for them, where there's like different perches where they can walk along and climb up and play on. This is Keely, I think. Yep. Cleaning up some of the old seeds on the... They're like little like OCD vacuum cleaners. It's got like a real compulsion to try and pick up all the seeds. They usually require about 10 to 12 hours of light time for each day. With things like doves, it's best to get them cages that are more that have got more floor space than, because you can get. I screwed up at first because when I first wanted to get a bird, I wanted to get a parrot, so I bought like this cage. I bought this cage because I thought that I was going to get a parrot in, and then I started really liking pigeons and doves. I decided to just adopt them instead, and but with those they need more floor space in their cages, which is why it's a good suggestion to go with a large dark cage, because they're cheap. You can get different size ones if you do get two. You can get like one large one and maybe like a 32-inch one, because they fold up quite easily. Because that way, if they do end up getting into like aggressive with each other, you do have something else to separate them into. Yeah, honestly, other than that, I don't know if there's that much more advice tips I can give you off the top of my head. I mean, if you do ever have any problems, you can always feel free to message me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And a lot of it is common sense with raising these kind of birds. The teals are very talkative right now. Anyway, sorry it's been a really long video. Hope you've learnt something. Yeah, have a good night.